Okay, so I really wanted to have Will on the show because he had a tweet. You were responding back, I think, to Matt Smith's comment because he mentioned something about the salary.
Josh Dover's comment. Yeah.
Okay, Josh Dover. I was like, there was some comment, and I saw, and you were like, you said something about it being myth or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly, but it just was like, okay, Will Petersen, what are you talking about? So maybe the salary cap isn't that big of a deal when it comes to Russell Wilson if they decide to move on. Give me the details on this because I'm so curious your thought process.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have to put your tinfoil hat on to know that my take is just that the NFL salary cap is pretty much a myth. Like it's never been enforced. The Saints were in cap hell for 10 years under Sean Payton, and it never seemed to make that much of a difference on who they could and couldn't sign and what they could and couldn't accomplish. And they could if the salary cap was so crippling, you would have thought the Saints would have won 3 games or 4 games because they couldn't afford to pay anyone. Well, they won 10 games every year. So I understand that it eventually catches up to you. But you can always write checks and kick things down the road and defer money and ultimately just make it someone else's problem 10 years from now. Maybe the Saints are in trouble now, but Sean Payton's not there anymore. So, yes, having to eat the dead cap money for Russell Wilson would hurt. I'm not saying it would be $0. It would be tens of millions of dollars. I get that. But Sean Payton is a genius at circumventing the salary cap, which, again, looks more and more like it doesn't exist because you never hear of this salary cap absolutely crippling the best teams because they can't afford to pay their players. Look at all the superstars on the loaded teams around the league. How do the 49ers afford to pay everyone? Yeah, they have a cheap quarterback, but they've got a lot of skill position players that are making a lot of money. So at some point, Rachel, I think the panic about, oh my gosh, the cap, it's calm down. Sean Payton knows how to get around the cap. The bigger disappointment to me would be that Russ wasn't the guy and they had to move on, not they're so in trouble for the next 3 years because they got to eat this dead money. They'll figure out a way around the dead money.
Yesterday, everybody, Will and I were sitting in a meeting, and I literally turned around and I was like, can you believe that we're having these conversations about the fact that it's like, okay, is there going to be a countdown to if the Broncos move on from Russell Wilson, a quarterback that we were all so excited for, and yet we're having this conversation of like he just hasn't lived up to the expectations. It's been a crazy few years around here.